and during the night, I decided to try and get closer to him.
Look at
I
this
rolled
great-
over until I was almost
look
right
at
at
her.
his
Get the
back.
kissy.
But then I heard something.
Going for the
They
kiss.
were kissing. I
Oh,
was
no.
watching them, wishing it was me he was kissing. I couldn't stop staring, but suddenly, Amy opened her eyes and caught me watching them.
All right, hello. Welcome to another animation video. High five, Robert.
I had water in my mouth. You started that so fast.
That'll be better than it's okay. Now kiss me. Anyways, today we're looking at a video called I Followed My Crush to the Basement, comma.
Same.
Instantly regrets
Relatable.
it. Totally relatable.
Except for the regret part.
Yeah, because it's totally consensual.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait a second. What's this? Never look down on anybody unless you're helping them up. Jesse Jackson. What the heck? Why did they start with a quote? Also, follow the animation channel, guys. Check out their stuff without me having to ruin. Like, watch this video, their version of this before I cover it. So it's actually like, I'm adding value to the video. Value.
I was running through the rain, trying to
God.
get home as quickly
She
as
was
possible.
running through the
when
six
I
with
noticed
her
my
woes.
crush James walking onto the
I like
school
the
grounds.
animation
I didn't
style.
want him to see me like this.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
they're turning
soaked
it
to
up.
the bone,
Oh.
looking like
Yo.
a drowned rat. But I had to know what he was up to. What if he was breaking into the school? I decided
Yo, they
to
use the
follow
anime
him.
lines that we
And at
use.
one point,
Bro, is this Pokemon? What are we watching right now?
I don't know, but this started way fast. That's one thing they've started doing is starting their stories way too fast.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It's like,
he turned around and looked right at me.
So, it
I didn't
looks like
know if I
Misty.
was seeing things, but it even looked like he smiled at me. Wait, did he want me to follow him? Suddenly, I felt
Dude, what
brave.
is this?
I was going to tell him how I felt.
This is
the
so
moment
fast-paced.
I waited for my
I
whole
know.
life had arrived. But then I saw him climbing into the tornado shelter, and that
What?
should have been my first warning not to keep.
he's using all sorts of, what?
Did they like condense an entire novel into a 16-minute video? So they're like, okay. So then there's a scene where I go to the store and then we played Minecraft together and we did this for a couple weeks and then we started a family and we had kids. And you know.
Because things were about to get super weird.
Okay.
Before I
He's
unleash
going on
my
a
crazy story
tornado
onto you,
shelter.
click like and subscribe to
Okay.
stay up to date with all the madness
Same
that
with this
My
channel.
Story animated.
And Robert's channel.
Okay, so there I was, climbing into a tornado shelter after my crush, with
Okay.
absolutely no plan of what I'd
She's
do
gonna
next.
regret it eventually,
I was
though.
acting purely on
Yeah,
impulse. and
if I've
it
read a
felt
title before, yeah.
amazing. I felt sure he knew I'd climbed in after him.
What?
But I couldn't see anything, so I used the flashlight on my phone and realized he'd already gone down the stairs. The rain was really pouring now, so I closed the lid. The last thing I wanted was to flood the shelter. Not on a special night like tonight.
Dude, this is so well done. Like, there's good music in it. It's like, it's creepy.
The last thing I want to do is flood the shelter. Not tonight.
This guy's over here cranking that Renegade.
Crank that soldier man.
Soldier boy!
James
Are you
before,
doing it?
Just the
Just
two
do
of
it.
us
I
alone.
tried.
Except
Hell yeah.
we weren't alone. As soon as I closed the lid, I heard a girl's
The
voice.
lid?
No! I started panicking and decided this had been a stupid
yanking her
idea.
hair
I
out.
pushed the lid to climb
Yikes.
back out, but it wouldn't open. No matter how hard I pushed it, it didn't budge.
She instantly
Oh my
is
gosh,
regretting
I
it.
was stuck. If it had just been me and James down there, it would have been quite
James?
exciting. But suddenly I heard a kissing sound and I realized my
no.
worst
Ooh,
nightmare
smoochy
had
time.
just come true.
He's using a tornado shelter.
We got this Spencer's Gifts looking at.
I was stuck in a tornado
What is she
shelter
wear-
with my crush and
What is she
his
wearing?
girlfriend by the sounds of things. And then the girl said, "Did anyone see you come in here? I hope we didn't get caught." And James replied, "No, I don't think so. Oh no, wait. There was a girl from my
So-
school, but she wouldn't say anything. She's such a loser." At that, I had to cover my face.
yikes.
I wanted to cry. It felt like he'd shoved a knife through my heart. Then I felt angry. I had to get out of there. This was literally the most embarrassing situation to ever be in. And what would my parents think when they found out? I gave the lid one final push, but I
There's even
pushed
motion
too
blur.
hard. The next moment, I lost my footing and was rolling down the stairs.
Oh no.
I landed with a thump and blacked out for a second.
Hey, what up? This part, go ahead and caption the image, okay? Leave a good caption to be eaten in the next one. Here's the caption image from the last one, and here's 3 beautiful captions. Woo! You love to see. And also go ahead and press that unpressed like button right there. If we can get 35,000 likes, I'll do another animation video. I haven't been doing them as much recently, okay? Anyways, please enjoy the rest of the video.
When I opened my eyes, James and his girlfriend...
Okay, also, she looks just like the girl Android 14 from Dragon Ball Z. Is that her?
I don't think I got that far in the show, man. I stopped at like episode 200.
Android 18. It looks just like her. It looks just like her.
This was the inspiration for Spencer's gifts.
It literally is, look.
Wow, good spot. Good catch, Caleb.
Thank you, Robert. I was about to say let's kiss again. I don't think we should keep doing that.
They didn't even ask me if I was okay. James just looked
Look at her
down at
standing
me
there
and
with that
said,
spunk.
"Did you follow me
Bruh.
here? What are you playing at?" Then he turned to his girlfriend and said, "Come on, babe, let's bounce." Then they just left me lying there and headed up the
What the
stairs.
heck?
I was about to tell
James
them
is
that
an
we were trapped down there, but they'd soon discover it for themselves. I could hear
Maybe they
James
have a key,
bashing on
though.
the lid of the shelter, but
How'd it get
obviously
locked?
it wouldn't open. And then he shouted down to me and
Yikes.
asked if I'd done this. And if
Curse you, Daphne!
James, I did not find this funny.
Curse
I wanted to
you.
shout up at him. He had to get out ASAP because the next day was his big football game that was going to guarantee him a scholarship to a top college.
Oh,
He said
no.
he
No
had to
anime
get
boys
it,
are
otherwise he'd be
on
stuck in
football
this stupid
scholarships.
town
What is this?
forever.
Not even
Oh,
anime?
No. This was a disaster. There was literally nothing down there except for some sandbags and an
Oh.
old scratchy blanket that looked like 1,000 bugs might be living in it.
That's one of them type late 1500s smallpox blankets.
Yikes. Well, that's what they're doing down there is they're just exposing themselves to viruses to get immunity.
They're inoculating themselves.
This is all your fault.
No, it's
You've
not.
ruined everything. Truly, that felt like the most awkward moment of my entire life. James told her to try and calm down, and I learned her name was Amy. She must have gone to another school because
Look
I'd
at
never
that
seen
dude.
her before. Neither
What
of them
is-
had
what
signal
is
either,
Amy's
and soon
doing?
they started screaming for help. I didn't want to tell them it was pointless. The rain was so loud.
Also, that's a vent right there. So can't water just get in the vent?
True. Yeah, it's over for these guys.
Better get that smallpox blanket ready.
I lied and told them I'd been trying to shelter from the rain because I'd forgotten my umbrella, but Amy didn't buy it. She said, "Yeah, right. You're clearly a stalker. Do you get kicks out of watching other people making out or something?"
That's a big
James said
claim.
you're a loser, and he
That's a
wasn't
big claim.
joking. Look at you. If I hadn't already been underground,
Poor
I'd
girl.
have asked the ground to
Yo, if my
swallow
girl said
me
that about
up.
someone, it
No
would be
one had
over.
ever been
Yeah, that's not very nice, bro.
Honestly, that's so unappealing, having
Yeah.
a partner who is that rude to people.
And dresses like they're shop exclusively at Spencer's Gifts.
Soon, it became obvious we'd all have to spend the night down there.
Right.
So I found a corner as far away from Amy as possible and lay down.
How
I
many
was still
bed
shivering
rolls
and
were
thought
there?
about using the insect-infested blanket, but Amy had already grabbed it.
Oh, lucky.
Look, you got that plague blankie.
I must have fallen asleep because the next moment I found myself waking up to hearing a rustling sound. I looked over at Amy, and even though I couldn't see anything, I knew she was eating
She was
something.
transforming.
I could hear her. I couldn't believe she had food with her and wasn't sharing
Amy's
it.
a dirty
It
rat.
just-
It's a potato,
I
a
could have
raw
said
potato.
something, but I was too scared. I'd already caused enough trouble. Finally, morning came, and by then my phone was at 2.
Is that James? Oh no, he's hot! Is that James cranking the Renegade on her phone screen on her wallpaper saver?
Yikes, and it's a PNG that isn't properly cropped. You see that?
Yeah, what the heck, dude? This is bullshit, totally. Daphne's an idiot, and the other girl's over there eating a fucking raw potato in a brown bag and a plague blanket. And that's not cool either.
No one's having a good time here.
What's James been doing?
Let's find out.
Soon, I wouldn't even know what time it was. I was bursting for the toilet. So I went to use it, and of course, Amy shouted at me and
Also-
said my breathing was too loud and had woken her up.
what
then
kind
I
of
noticed there was a light
tornado
switch
shelter doesn't
outside the
have water
toilet.
or food in
I clicked
it?
on it, not expecting it to work, and suddenly the whole
Yeah, terrible
shelter was
shelter.
flooded with light.
course it's
Amy
gonna have
quickly
light.
pulled the blanket
Yay.
up and told me to look away. Oh my gosh, were they not wearing clothes? James. Then Amy just laughed and said everyone knows that body heat is the best way to survive in
She's
cold
got a
weather.
point, you know?
I felt so insecure about my running clothes, and I hadn't even shaved my legs. I didn't want
Look like a damn carrot patch on them legs.
We started looking around the place to see if we could find anything, and James
There's gotta be some
suddenly
kind of
sounded
supplies.
happy. Under the sandbags, he'd
Oh,
found
here
some
we
old
go.
bottles of water.
Yes.
The water looked disgusting, but
brown
I'd
water.
have drunk anything by that point. Both James and I
BPAs.
downed like a liter each, but Amy refused.
Plastic.
Suit yourself, I thought.
She's gonna die and they're gonna have to eat her.
I started getting a weird pain in my stomach.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only logical
There was
explanation.
no toilet paper. This couldn't be
no.
happening. I
She
had
get
to
the
run and
runs.
almost
They're
puked
gonna
my
become the
guts up.
human
And I wasn't
centipede.
the only one. James raced in after me.
Takes
and at
care
one
of
point,
every,
we were
bodily
both
requirement.
lying on the floor, taking it in turns to vomit. Not exactly what
Ew.
I had in mind for our first date together. Amy got seriously annoyed and even tried to drag James out of the bathroom.
Imagine
was
being
she
Amy.
jealous?
Amy's a freaking schnitzel.
I noticed an empty soda bottle behind the toilet. Had Amy secretly had a bottle of soda and not
What
told
the
us?
heck?
How
Amy.
selfish. A while later, I heard someone
Grab the
saying
plague
my
blanket.
name. I opened my eyes and could see James. He said he could hear my teeth chattering and that I should come and share their blanket. But if
God.
Amy woke up and saw me,
This
she'd
is
go
gonna be-
mental. I
this
didn't
is
care
gonna be
about her though.
awkward.
James was actually being kind of nice to me.
Also, what about the whole, like, not having any water for over a day and then also vomiting, which dehydrates you even more? They would be dead by now, wouldn't they?
Can't you go like 3 or 4 days without water?
Yeah, it's like 3, I think, or like 4. But if you're like dehydrating yourself by vomiting, I feel like that's
Shouldn't have touched that bad water, you guys.
like thrown up in the air. Grabbed it.
What's going through those pipes though? Is that good
Yeah.
water? Are they gonna smash those pipes?
And then fill it up and drown maybe, or maybe
Oh,
do it
yikes.
on the right side of the valve though. You could do it like on the outlet side, so you could smash right here, and then you could open the valve and just have running water.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what to do at this point, but I hope it involves something very anime.
I'm thinking more based on what I'm wanting to see.
So I climbed under the blanket next to him.
Men
Our
in hentai
legs
don't
were
have eyes.
almost
Lord, let her
touching.
know.
And of course, that woke Amy up. And when she saw me, I thought she was going to explode.
True, legs
Dude,
touching is one of the
keep
loudest things.
So he snuggled into her and left me lying there all alone.
That's
But I
hilarious,
couldn't stop
dude.
thinking about the moment we just shared. And during the night, I decided to try and get closer to him.
Look at
I
this
rolled
great-
over until I was almost
look
right
at
at
her.
his
Get the
back.
kissy.
But then I heard something.
Going for the
They
kiss.
were kissing.
Oh no!
That's what I want to do! Stop staring. Suddenly, Amy opened her eyes and caught me watching them. She told James, but James said I was asleep and that they should get some sleep
James is a good
too.
dude.
But James didn't go back
James
to
is
Yeah, he
covered.
seems like an
he
awesome
waited
dude.
until Amy was snoring next to him.
Are they gonna
Then
die
he
in
reached
here?
out his hand and
I
grabbed
don't know,
mine.
dude.
I felt like my heart was going to explode.
What's with
and I
these
so badly
two-timing
wanted to
boys
get
in all these
closer to him.
stories?
Dude, every one of these stories has some kind of polyamorous Chad.
Yeah, yeah, who looks like the last person who would be able to pull that off in real life.
Yeah, James is like, look at his shirt. No one wears two-tone shirts with the shoulder, you know, the shoulders, like the baseball type shirts.
Oh yeah.
You don't wear those if you get women, all right?
Hey, well, okay, yeah, sounds good. It's always a dude who doesn't look like they could carry one girl over there.
Right. Yeah, it's always a guy who's very narrow and is usually afraid of spiders.
Strong boy! Get a strong boy!
There was always the next night, right? So we
You'll
fell
be dead by
asleep
then 'cause
holding
of
hands, and I
dehydration.
couldn't stop smiling. In the morning, though, I was lying there all alone.
Right.
When Amy got up to go to the bathroom, I smiled at James, and he smiled back. But then Amy came out and saw me and said, "Freak, stop
What?
staring at us
This
like
is
that." I
very-
thought James would stick up for me, but
Very
he
This
didn't,
story
bizarre.
is
because he
just
was
people
acting like
reacting
nothing had
to each
happened
other
between us.
constantly.
The rest of that
Yeah,
day
what
was
is this?
kind of weird. We just sat around quietly.
How are they not
At one
dead
point,
yet?
James almost fainted. I mean,
Oh,
we
there
were
we go.
all starving.
We're getting there.
I was so weak. I just kept napping, and when I woke up from one of my naps, James and Amy were eating biscuits. Where did they get them from? I could almost feel the saliva pouring out of my mouth, and I
Ask for half a
assumed Amy
biscuit.
would offer me one, but she
This
didn't.
means war,
They
Amy!
ate them all, and after that, I
Even-
didn't speak to either of them.
Even if Amy doesn't like her, she should still not want her to die.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Just give me a couple crumbs, Amy.
Bro, even if I had a banana, a fake banana.
I I couldn't sleep that night because my stomach was rumbling so loudly. But once
My stomach
Amy had
doesn't really
fallen
rumble
asleep,
much.
James reached into his pocket and handed me a
Reached into his
biscuit.
pants?
I swear I almost kissed him right there and then.
should've.
This was
They
why I had
call
a crush
biscuits
on him.
cookies
He was
and cookies
actually
biscuits.
A good guy,
Why
even
are
if he
they-
had a demon
Yeah, this-
for a girlfriend.
All right. Beat Amy up, eat her, and then that'll tide you over, right?
Yes.
Who do you think, if she started beating Amy up, do you think James would side with Amy or the Gaffney or whatever her name is? Android 18 or the redheaded bitch?
I don't know. It depends on what stage of puberty he's in. If he's in that like early stage where you're just then he wants Spencer's gifts around to satisfy his needs. But if he's matured a little bit, then he wants Daphne. At the same time, I ain't trying to date anyone who murders another person. So
That's true. That's true. It's hard to say, yeah.
For the next few nights, we got into a bit of a routine. After Amy fell asleep, we'd lie there and hold hands. And one night, James came right up to
One
me,
night?
and I could tell he
How
was
long
about
have
to
they
kiss
lived
me.
without
But
water?
Amy started murmuring in her sleep,
Yeah.
and he quickly moved over to her and held her.
It's
It
either the
drove
next
me
night or
crazy.
nothing.
After we'd been
Yeah.
down there for
What?
like 6 days.
yeah, they're dead.
6 days with no water? That's bullshit.
Well, they probably just lied about the days. You know, they just replaced days with hours, and that's probably what's happening.
That's a good point. That's a solid point. Unless they're pulling a Bear Grylls and they're drinking each other's concentrated urine.
The jury's out. Is pee good or not?
I don't think it's good.
After we'd been down there for like 6 days, things were really starting to smell.
True, dude.
The toilet, my clothes, it was nasty. Amy still looked good.
What is she
that day
sitting
I
like that
noticed
for?
she didn't get up. It was like she'd given up on shouting for help, but it bothered me.
She's an
Why
android.
should she get to sit there and chill? So I told her I'd just seen a huge spider. And I've never seen her run so fast. I just had this feeling she was hiding something, like another pack of
The
biscuits.
key?
But I found
Biscuit.
something much
The
bigger.
key.
Under
Oh.
where she'd been sitting was a loose
you're
part
right.
of the floorboard. I lifted it up
You're
and
correct,
couldn't
dude.
believe what I was seeing. There was so much stuff down
Oh.
there. Beauty products,
Oh.
food, a battery pack, even clothes.
What?
Oh my gosh, what was going on? I didn't have time to
I mean,
put
I would
the
expect
floorboard
all that
back
stuff to be
before
down there.
James appeared to find
Yeah.
the spider.
Should be in the
I
main
whispered that
room.
Amy had been hiding stuff. James came running
Is this
over
Amy's
and pulled out
tornado
her
shelter?
phone. He knew her password and typed it in quickly. Then he saw some messages that said things like, I need to find a way to stop him going off to college. I'm scared
Oh.
he'll leave me. As he was reading them
James
and
is
I was
quite a
eating one of
catch.
her secret chocolate bars, she came down the stairs.
Right.
What are you doing?
And
she
she-
screamed.
They got her away just because of a spider? Imagine being afraid of that afraid of a spider.
Hello?
Are you afraid of spiders, Robert?
Only if they go 0 to 100 real quick. If they're chilling, I'm good. As soon as they take off at full speed with no acceleration necessary.
It is a little disturbing. I've made a friend that's a spider, and he's chilling.
What do you mean?
I'll show you later.
No, don't show me.
I won't show you later then. Don't worry about it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, don't worry about it. All right, here we go. Back to the video.
She tried to grab
Beat her
her
to death
phone
and eat her.
back from James, but he wouldn't give it to her. Eventually,
How
she
short is she?
broke down and said that she didn't want James to leave her for college, so she'd planned
So he's
this.
almost an adult.
But she had only
Or
meant
is
for
an
them to
adult.
be stuck down there for 1 or 2 days. Then she said I'd ruined it all
She's
by
trying to kill
turning
her.
up and getting them locked in here. But there
What
was
the
something else. While she'd been talking, I'd been digging around, and inside a pair of her socks was a key. I held it in my
Bruh.
hands and watched as
Bruh.
James went crazy at Amy. He said he couldn't believe he dated such a psycho and that she'd officially ruined his life.
Yeah, that's
Then
crazy.
The best
Well, I don't
part
know
of
about
all,
that.
he turned to me and apologized.
And kissed
he
her.
said
Kiss
he
her.
was
I have
sorry
learned the
he
power
treated
of
me
fasting.
so badly, but actually he'd realized how amazing I was and had enjoyed our sneaky hand-holding sessions while Amy slept. At that,
Ooh, that is weird.
she ran towards me and I quickly jumped away.
Like a
Then
spider.
I watched as
0
she
to 60
dug
and
around
Anime
our
battle!
secret hiding place. Looking for this? I asked.
Dude, this is an anime battle right here.
She's been hiding this key
Fight.
the whole
Fight.
time.
Fight.
Before Amy could get to it, I ran up the stairs and undid the lock.
Fight.
James was right behind
Get
me, and
the
we
heck
both
out of
climbed
there.
out and collapsed onto the ground laughing. We were free. As Amy climbed out, I thought she was going to kick me or something, but she just stormed off. And
Amy's a
James shouted
bitch.
after her. That's right. Keep walking. I never want to see your face again.
Look how anime that was.
James
That was
turned to me
anime.
and gave me the biggest kiss ever. We could see the
making
janitor
me blush.
running towards us. And before all hell broke loose with our parents about where we'd been for the past week, James asked for my number. And now we're about to
Yes!
go on our first
That's the
proper
important
date.
thing right now.
The worst week
Beautiful.
of my life.
What a good
just
story.
became the best week.
Wow. Big Chungus. That's truly a sex moment.
That was so much longer than it needed to be.
There was a lot in that just did not need to be there. Literally, most of it. I mean, 2 days in, I would have made a drastically different choice about Amy if I was Daphne, but we'll leave that for a different animation.
You know, her name isn't actually Daphne. She just
What is it?
I have no idea. I don't know if they even said it.
Right, I thought she looked like Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Daphne! Fucking Amy!
Hey, Scoob, could you eat Amy for a Scooby snack?
Okay!
Anyways, thanks for watching that animation, guys, with me and Robert Eddie K. Go subscribe to his channel. Go subscribe to the animation channel that we covered in this. They did a really good job with that animation, despite it being a little bit longer than it needed to be, let's be honest. Smash like on this video if you guys want to see more with me and Robert, and also go subscribe to Robert yet again, and subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already. Turn notifications up, wait. How often do you upload, Robert?
4 times a week. I don't know what days, though.
Okay, 4 times a week, so every other day at least. Anyways, thank you all.